map for Indiana County. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. It's Indiana in the Morning here on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. And our conversation with our county commissioners today brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted Best Personal Injury Law Firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Two of our three Indiana County commissioners joining us this morning, Sherene Hess, Robin Gorman, both with us. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you both with us here today. We'll start with my left and Shireen.
Here, you can choose with the map.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Slide that map over here and make her talk about internet,
Whatever, if it helps.
All right, Shireen, solve this broadband thing for us. No, just kidding.
Topic of the decade.
It
Yeah.
really is.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's one of, when you zero in on a topic, it seems like it can just overwhelm the whole communication for the next 15 or 20 minutes. But it's one of many that could fit that category. Broadband is one thing we're talking about in Indiana County, but there are so many other things right now.
There are many other things going on. You know, it's summertime, so we have our producers in full swing, working. You know, those are our small businesses. The backbone of most of our rural counties is our agricultural community. Mm-hmm. So we have that. We have lots of economic development projects in somewhere in the development stage and working on more. The money that is available from the federal government down through the state government for broadband, for just any number of things, is really historic, as they say. And so we are trying to avail ourselves of those resources and just keep things moving forward in Indiana County. You know the challenges we have.
Sure.
So you can't rest on the laurels. You can't take the victory lap. You have to just keep moving and keep churning. And thankfully we have great partners that are doing that every day as well. So they keep us moving. They're pushing us. So that's the good thing.
And among all of that are the challenges of working without a state budget in place, therefore without having final solid numbers that you can draw upon when you're figuring, okay, what's the wisest and best way that's going to serve the most people out of the funds that are available to us. Robin Gorman, of course, and the other commissioner with us this morning. It does become a really stiff challenge to figure out, okay, what's coming and what can we do now because we're just not sure.
It does, and in fact, I heard the report this morning of the school district, particularly Julia Kukuro, and it's one of those issues where we support our colleagues in the legislature. We know they do hard work, too, every day in trying to get us to budget, but it does have impacts on the local level, and so we have to be prepared for that, and we are. A lot of our departments, particularly on our court side and our largest department, like Children and Youth Services, are state funded, so they will be impacted, and they're already planning ahead to make sure that the bills and the payroll can be had, regardless of how long this shortfall may be in place.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things, speaking of our state legislators and lawmakers, Senator Pittman was here last week talking about the Homer City Generating Station property itself. It's a huge concern. It runs right to the top of everybody's mind right now. But there are others who are almost in that same position. Keystone Generating Station, the power plants in Seward and Huff, those things are great revenue generators, yes, job makers, number two, but they're a part of our Indiana County heritage, and we want to do whatever we can to keep these sites as viable sites, whether they're producing power, whatever it is that they're doing. And while commissioners can't physically get in there and drag a company in and say, here you go, you do have a very vital interest in what's happening at those properties. What can you do as you offer support to anybody that would be interested in something like that?
Well, yeah, these are private property owners, and so we don't know a lot about plans going forward. And then there is the regulatory arena in which they are all operating, and we know about that. But it's also the arena of moving forward with the I guess new economies for our local areas. And so I think we're all very concerned, and we're trying to figure out, do some problem solving with our partners on what's happening immediately, but also try to plan for the future. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing I alluded to was, trying to avail ourselves of these funds that are out there. I know our planning office is going after some block grants types of monies from the Economic Development Agency, from the energy offices. Clean energy is a term you hear, but that to me means energy efficiency for a lot of rural areas. And we have a lot of old housing stock that could be upgraded and with the notion of energy efficiency in mind. Businesses, schools, our institutions. And so we are looking for, how do we create jobs? How can we be part of that arena? Part of that arena, to bring those kinds of jobs into Indiana. And there are other things we can do. Agriculture, I keep mentioning it, but there are some tens of thousands of job openings in that scene, and that's important to Pennsylvania. Yeah. It's not just farming; it's food production, it's nutrition, it's the biology and the bio related things to farming that support that, and also increasing access of food, good nutritious food, to communities that don't have that. So there are any number of areas where we can get involved, and we're trying, and we look to our partners. We look to the County Commissioners Association and all of those, the Tourist Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, the Indiana County Development Corporation. It's just a constant churn of trying to figure out where the opportunities are and getting ourselves into that conversation.
Well, an example of that was the announcement of the new facility that's going to be going in just down the road, just down Route 119.
Yeah. Yes.
And speaking of farming and speaking of adapting to a new economy, that's a way that you do it.
Yeah. And, I want to go backwards to go forwards. We started out, and we truly were sort of tongue-in-cheek. We're like, we don't want to talk the negative this morning, right? We want to stay on the positive, because in every hard, emotional announcement, no matter what it is, just like the Homer City Power Plant, right? Because you said it, Todd, it's our heritage. It's what we know. It's what we were built on. It's really not even just an economic impact. It's that emotional impact of families and their lives. And do they have to move? Where will they go? What will be replaced? Mm-hmm. And so it's so hard, because we are always at work, right? We jumped on that 2 years ago when the first announcement was made. And we did meet with the owners, and we have continued to align ourselves with Senator Pittman and Representative Struzzi, and now in our congressional all the way down, to say, we can't lose this asset. And I know that Senator Pittman probably spoke to this. The good parts about hearing a very negative announcement is there is still interest of many different people about the assets that still remain there. It's connected to the grid. You've got the rail line there. You've got lots of land. You've got the Boney Pile that's doing good things. But then you also have, like Commissioner Hess was talking about, these new energy companies that want to start to get their foot in the door and say, look, we're not all bad. We can do good things. And this particular biodigester plant, and you're going to hear it, right, is not going to replace those jobs, nor is it have the number that can even replace it. But what it does is it helps a larger community of your farming and agriculture that I'm not sure everybody's picking up on, about how it truly helps them. It helps them not only produce or allows them to sell their manure, get a profit for that. Mm-hmm. Then it not only goes through the biodigester, but comes back to then for bedding and other things that they can use, so that recyclable and ongoing productivity is just something you really have to entrench yourself in and understand what we are replacing, and that it is ultimately for the long-term good.
Yeah. And I do want to say, we're not naive. We know that these new jobs, it's not going to be the numbers. We know that. Mm-hmm. We have to take a look at, what incomes are going to be generated from new jobs, so to speak. But we have to do something, and that's what we're doing. And, we're working with IUP, talk about different ways of diversifying. They're working on the steam shop and the maker space. And and all those things that are related to the innovative economy and the entrepreneurship opportunities that, when we're in a rural area, you have to go with what assets you have, and your people are your asset. And also arts and culture. Sometimes we take it for granted, but we have this great history and these great traditions from our resource economy, from coal and oil and gas, and even the salt mines and timbering. We have this history that people are actually interested in. It can be a source of tourism, and we have outdoor recreation. This is a great place to come and bike our trails and hike and do all those outdoor things. So in a rural area, you got to go with what you have, and thankfully we've got our strong banks, we've got our university, we've got a good hospital.
All those things we never seem to get to do because we're busy taking care of the county.
That is true. But yes, and to go back to broadband, that is sort of an underpinning of it all, and that's it's a question I get the most from people when I go out and talk with people. What's happening with broadband?
Yeah.
And the investments are being made, but it is going to take time.
Well, Robin brought the map.
There's the map.
Hold the map up there so everybody
I'm telling you,
can
I
see it.
carry
That's
these
the map.
things around with me all the time because, and good things, right? The really good things and the long-lasting infrastructure things do take time. And that's the hard part, right? Because like you said, Todd, people are like, they hear it and it's coming to my area. And then it's like, okay, tomorrow? Am I going to have it tomorrow?
Yeah. How come my house isn't
Right.
wired yet? That's
And
what
we
basic
wish
thing-
it could be that way.
Yeah, sure.
We do.
But the two of you are not going to put on hard hats and go climbing a pole today.
Hey, if they would let me and it would get us there faster, I'm in. But they won't
I
let us
believe
do
that.
that part.
We'd like to see the pictures, wouldn't we?
Yes, that would be some good material.
Well, it is, something that is of concern to so many people, and good things are happening. It just as Robin said, it takes a while to make all of this come together, and things are not instantaneous. You not only want to get it done, you want to get it done right.
Yeah, that's the point.
All right. Well, we have solved a bunch of problems here this morning, and the biggest problem of all was what was I going to have for my midday snack?
I know.
We didn't know breakfast was being
That was
delivered.
a little bit of a diversion.
They slipped a sandwich into me, but not to the two of you. Boy, do we treat our guests well, huh? Sherene Hess, Robin Gorman, two of our county commissioners joining us this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. We're just about 2